I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Once again, welcome back to another review. This is a Patreon review from Marv B. First off, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of my Patreon. I want to thank everyone who has done that. If anyone ever wants to think of joining my Patreon, the link is down below where there's different tiers. If you do a certain tier, you can request a review or topic or whatever, and more so. Again, if you want to do it that way, or I do have a PayPal, which is a direct request of pretty much anything, whether it be review, commentary, topic, video, what have you. So yeah, the Patreon, PayPal is down below for those interested. If not, no worries. But again, Marv B today, thank you so much. He wanted a review of Castle Freak. Now, Castle Freak is a film directed by Stuart Gordon, which is a man we sadly lost this year. And Stuart Gordon, talented director. This is the man that gave us Reanimator, which I enjoy. Could never get into From Beyond. I really enjoyed Dolls. I think Dolls is one of his better films. My favorite Stuart Gordon film would have to be Fortress with, I've heard it pronounced Christopher Lambert and Christophe Lambert. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm not sure which is correct. But I love Fortress. If you want to see a better version of Escape Plan with Arnold and Sly, you want to see a much gorier, better version of that, watch Fortress. Robot Jocks, I wanted to like it, but it has like one of the more bullshit endings where this guy's a crazy killer and then they're like, yay! What the fuck? I mean, the movie wasn't that great beforehand, but that ending, I'm like, it was a bit what the fuck for me. Maybe that's just me. Other Stuart Gordon, I really enjoyed this one called Stuck. I thought it was an interesting premise, where a guy gets hit by a car, and this lady, she doesn't want to get in trouble with the cops, so she leaves the guy there, and the guy is stuck to the girl's windshield. And so she leaves him in the parking garage stuck to the windshield, and this whole other interesting idea. That was an intriguing movie. Most of the other Stuart Gordon films I don't think I've seen, or I don't remember too much about, but definitely Fortress, Dolls, and Reanimator, I would say those are, in my opinion, his best ones. Now, Jeffrey Combs, who's the star of this, of course, had worked with Stuart Gordon quite a bit. I mean, he was also in Fortress in a supporting role. He was the star, one of the stars of Reanimator. He stars in this movie. He was the star in From Beyond. Jeffrey Combs, him and Barbara Crampton, they definitely worked with Stuart Gordon a lot, and they're both the stars of this movie. And the movie's pretty simple. Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, they're a husband and wife. They have a daughter who's blind. You find out the daughter's been blind because Jeffrey Combs, back then, he was drinking. He had his daughter and son in the car. There was a crash. The son died. The daughter became blind. So the husband and wife, there's a lot of friction between them. Jeffrey Combs wants to have stuff behind them, but Barbara Crampton is still holding it dear, which is understandable. and Jeffrey Combs inherits this castle. They move in, and there just happens to be this freak that at the very beginning of the film we see this old woman whipping the freak, and that old woman dies of a heart attack, so the freak is just left there. And then one thing leads to another, the freak gets out and kind of stalks around the castle while these three characters live there. Now, the movie as a whole, I thought it was simply okay. I thought it was simply alright. It didn't really... I thought Jeffrey Combs did a great job in the movie. Even though, yeah, he caused this accident, I definitely felt sorry for the character because he was trying to make amends. There's a lot of... Well, not a lot, but there's a few scenes that he expresses his sadness for what had happened. He's not callous about it. He's not like, oh, it doesn't matter. It definitely means a lot to him. Barbara Crampton, you could easily make it that the character's bitchy, but because we get the gist of what happened, you can understand her point of view. So I don't think the acting is the problem. There's a couple decent moments of gore, definitely not as effects driven blood and guts that you see in stuff like Reanimator or even From Beyond, which I don't know, From Beyond I couldn't get into. Like, I love Ken Foree in the film, but then I don't like what happens to his character, the ending. I don't know, just there's some good. I mean, it has its merits. I'm just not my cup of tea for that one. I mean, this is fairly straightforward. It does lose steam at times because there's only so much you could do with a story where it's three characters and then this one freakish character, cat and mouse, it being hidden. Of course, it'll be near the blind girl, and she's like, is something there? There's only so much you can milk out of that. It makes me wonder if this would have worked better as a 45-minute to a 1-hour like episode of a... Like, in a way, if you reworked this, I don't know, maybe it would have worked as a Tales from the Crypt episode, or I don't know which program would be better for it. I just bet you Tales from the Crypt because you could get away with the blood and such. Because I just don't think there's enough there for an 80 to 90 minute running time. Again, there are some decent bits of gore. Like, for example, a titty gets bit, and it's like, ooh, don't bite the titties. You can suck on the titties, but do it the nice way, like, you know, the good way, like we all men will do it, but not that way. There's a part where the freak like breaks his own, I think he actually bites off his own thumb to get the chains off, but it's not as bloody. If you think it's going to be to the levels of gore of a Reanimator, you'd be disappointed. There is a point where Jeffrey Combs brings these two brings one hooker back because he's not having sex with his wife, and so he has sex with his hooker, and then he passes out, and then stuff happens, and he gets framed for the crime. But again, while they used an actual castle, I believe the producer was Charlie Band, who has a castle. I guess at one point Charlie Band, who is the big main guy behind Full Moon Productions, and I think it was Empire Pictures before that. For some reason, he had just bought a castle. I just so that, hey, why not have a castle? I'm like, with these low-budget films, how the fuck did you afford a castle? But maybe that's where the money went for all the productions. Secret funding to buy a fucking castle. That's a legitimate question. How the fuck did Charlie Band afford to buy a fucking castle? Maybe there's some more to this story I don't know. I would love to find out. But I mean, to use that structure, the actors involved, Jeffrey Combs has some nice moments. He sees this picture. It's another, just among the castle, there's memorial stuff, and there's a picture of a boy, and it reminds him of his son, and Jeffrey Combs breaks down a bit. It's a really nice acting moment. So being a fan of Jeffrey Combs, it was nice to see that. I don't mind the makeup of the look of the freak. I didn't think it looked hokey or silly or anything. I didn't think I mean, it's not an overlong film. It's not like an hour and 45 minutes. It's just that at the hour and 20 or hour and 30, it still felt like 45 minutes to maybe an hour at most seems the best you can milk this material for. The ending, well, I'll get to that when I talk with spoilers, but overall, I would say I liked it. It was nice to look at the, I liked the actors involved. I do think Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton did a nice job. Like I said, it was really nice to see Jeffrey Combs get some nice acting moments there. It's not a lot of gore. Once in a while, there's like, ooh, a decent little bit. But this is a film that doesn't have a big body count. I don't know, maybe if it did, maybe if he threw in a bit more body count here and there, maybe that would have helped. Again, I don't know. I think because you think of Stuart Gordon, there's that part of you that is expecting the amount of blood that you would see like in a Reanimator or even in a From Beyond, and so you could almost say this is tame in comparison, at least with the volume or lack thereof. But getting to spoilers, I would say it's a decent watch. If you like Stuart Gordon, if you like Jeffrey Combs, if you like Barbara Crampton, I think I found it to watch. I think he was on YouTube. I say I think because I watched this like a week ago, and it was either on Tubi TV or YouTube, and it's worth one watch if you've never seen it. I mean, at least in honor of Stuart Gordon. I'm not mad that I saw it. I'm glad I saw it once. I don't see myself ever watch it again, but it's an alright film. It's okay. I would say it's at least a time waster. And spoiler alert starting now, the ending didn't bother me too much. I mean, Jeffrey Combs is fighting the freak, and then he pulls both of them off the top of the castle to their deaths, because in a way it's his retribution for what had happened and what the accident he caused that took the life of his son and blinded his daughter. I guess, sure, I would have preferred Jeffrey Combs living, but the way it was handled, I thought it was handled the right way, because A, he did something heroic. He died a heroic act. B, he did kill the monsters. Not like his death was in vain. And he did save his family. Again, it wasn't in vain. Also, the little bits of dialogue that he and Barbara Crampton have, where he's like, forgive me. And she's going, I'm sorry, I love you. And then he's going, I love you. And Barbara Crampton's crying. So it's not like she doesn't care, or... Believe me, there are movies that will have a similar situation like that and completely botch it and screw it up. If you don't do it, I thought this was handled the right, respectful way. The fact that she said, I'm sorry, or I love you. If you don't have to do it, I thought this was done well enough. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Castle Freak. Not a great or entirely memorable movie, but a decent flick. It's alright. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Thank you once again, Marv B. And we will see you guys in the next video. Later.